This episode of Digital Photography Cafe is brought to you by Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool for your camera, and by Daisy Grip, for a child's smile for a photographer's camera.
Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe. I'm Trevor Current, your digital marketing guy.
And I'm Joseph Christina, your professional photographer.
So grab a latte, pull up a chair, and join us as we chat about the art and business of photography.
So hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Last week we talked about the business side of Facebook, a portfolio solution in your pocket, and some really cool photo gear that won't break the bank. If you haven't listened to last week's show, I encourage you to do so. You can find it on iTunes, listen in your car through Stitcher Radio, or simply head over to the website, digitalphotographycafe.com, and listen online.
So Joe, we are back, episode 56. How goes it?
I am doing well. It goes well. How about you?
For the most part, everything goes well. Business has been really good this week, very busy. Got
Nice.
a lot going on, which is always good. Help pay those bills. But other than that, man, I pinched a nerve in my back. My back is totally screwed up now. I've got a shooting pain down my arm, and my thumb is numb.
So you are pretty jacked up.
Yeah, I am jacked up, and it's really, it's hard too, because it's, I write lefty, and my left thumb is numb, so it's like I don't even feel the pen when I'm trying to hold it, and it's. Yeah, I've been to the chiropractor, and he's like, oh, heat and adjustments and this and that, and I mean, I guess everybody's got their opinions about chiropractics. They've always worked well for me, but this one I think is going to take a while to fix.
Yeah, they usually start out, at least it's just your thumb, You could have other things that were not currently working or frozen or some type of deadness. That wouldn't be good. But, you always get, as soon as you go into these people, they're like, oh, I think we might need an MRI. And we might need, the time you're done, it's like $15,000 later, and, you just have like a crank neck. Well,
that may be the next step for me if this doesn't clear up soon. Because I may have to go see, see the doctor and get the MRI done to see where the problem actually is.
The real doctor, the one that does the MRI.
Real doctor. Yeah.
God, yeah, my neck is jacked up too. And you know what? It's funny. We both are having these problems, and it kind of leads me into this story that I read just a couple of days ago. It was really interesting. It's about the desks that we sit in, and the difference between sitting and standing, and how we are all jacked up. And one of the reasons is just we're just simply sitting too much. Bottom line, one of the interesting things that they said in there, of course, is I love the stats, right? They say Americans spend over 50%, that's 50% of waking moments of their waking day, either behind a desk or behind a TV or, on driving. So the bottom line is it's sitting. 50% of your time is spent sitting. We are mobile creatures. We are not made to just sit idly, and I think that a lot, leads to this problem that we have with our backs, our necks, and, all of this stuff. We're sitting around.
Oh, sure. I mean, for me, 20 plus years sitting in a chair at a computer doing design work and everything. And, I have had severe problems with my low back. I mean, I actually had to go and have a whole scan done once before.
Wow.
For compressed vertebrae in my very low back. And the doctor said, do you sit a lot? And I was like, yeah, every day for about 9-10 hours a day. And he said, well, that's your problem. He's like, you need to get up, you need to move more, you need to stretch. And it's like, in society, we're so conditioned that when you're at work, you're working, and you got to work, and you got to get it done because somebody's going to die. The client is going to miss a deadline, and they're literally going to die. So, we put so much stress on ourselves. We work through lunches, and we spend all this time sitting at our desk.
Yeah,
that's true. Really one of the worst things that we can do for ourselves.
Yeah, it's killing us. One of the other stats that they had was that, sitting right, for 4 hours a day increases your chance of dying of some type of cardiovascular disease by 80% more than just simply sitting for 2 hours. So what that translates into, you know, if you're sitting for 2 hours is one thing, you sit for 4 hours and now all of a sudden your chance of dying from cardiovascular disease increases by 80%. That just shows that, you know, sitting is really not good. I mean, there's so much that's not good about it. I mean, you have muscle weakness, you have stiff joints, you see people that are hunched over. That's always an issue. You have increased, heart disease, heart attacks. You have people that they're more likely to become overweight. And then what happens when you're overweight, right? You have most likely you get into blood pressure issues, and then you get into diabetes, and you get into basically all these kinds of things. They all lead into stroke or some type of a heart problem. And a lot of it simply has to do with just sitting around idle.
Sure.
And this is something that is very, I mean, it's been a problem for a long period of time, but as society has become more of like a technology type society, there's less people that are out there actually, there's less laborers, let's say. There's more people that are sitting behind desks, sitting behind phones, sitting, maybe driving, that's all they do is drive 8 hours a day. Maybe they're some type of truck driver, or they're going, they're real estate and they're moving from one location to another, drive. The people that are constantly sitting are just, they're more likely to have heart problems, period.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're younger and you're just getting started in your career out of college or whatever, and I mean, you're relatively in better shape. You know, when you start hitting your late 30s, your 40s, and then into your 50s, things take their toll a lot more. Oh yeah. I mean, your body doesn't recover from injury as fast. Right. And those of us that drive desks for a living, unless you're getting out and you're getting exercise at some point through the day, the end of the day, you're going to the gym, you're walking, you're doing something. All of these things really start to take a toll on it. And as photographers and as designers and everything else that we all do, this is a very serious problem. And this is all something that really needs to be dealt with and addressed. Right. As all part of your whole lifestyle. I mean, your art and your creativity is one thing, but your health really is the most important thing. Right. And when you're physically unable to do things because of these back problems, or, think about it. Think of the gear that we have to truck around, right, to do location work. If your back is killing you right now, man, I would not be able to sling a bag up over my shoulder and hump, all this gear to a location shoot. I mean, I would be in such pain. Oh yeah,
absolutely. And you say about photographers, designers, people like us that sit behind the computer, and that's exactly right. That's kind of one of the things that I really wanted to stress. Normally we're talking the art and business of photography, right? But this, I think, when I started reading this, I think it's so incredibly important for people like us that are photographers. Now we know that photographers, do we shoot? How much do we shoot? Do we shoot all day? Do we shoot, 50% of the day? We know that as photographers, we're probably shooting 10% of the time at best. I mean, if we're shooting 20% of the time, we got a really good business going on. Normally we're editing, we're on the phone, we're doing books, we're contacting customers. This is what we do. We are either, just like you said, we're riding the desk. We're sitting here just not leaving, not getting up. It's so important to be able to get up. Now, you think about like, oh, so what can you do? Well, yeah, you can buy like a treadmill or one of those stability balls, or maybe you can go and, in your studio, you can put like one of those little mini steppers or an elliptical or do something. So many people love video games, right? You can go and buy an Xbox, with Kinect, or you can do like a Wii and do like,
one of those
playing
tennis or something.
Exactly. Something like that. But one of the important things that people forget about is the 10-minute rule. You should be working for, an hour and then taking a break for 10 minutes. Work for an hour, we'll take for a break. Most people can't do that. So, but even if you change it to a 5-minute rule and you work for an hour and take a 5-minute break, you're going to be more healthy. As we said before, sitting makes you unhealthy, period. That is just how it is, and like you're saying, with, getting out, instead of taking a lunch and like we do, most of us do, right? We're most of the time when you own your own business, you're a workaholic and you just keep editing through lunch and you keep answering phones through lunch. Instead of doing that, take a half an hour and actually leave the studio and just do a simple walk. And instead of and what that makes you do is, now if you're going to walk and eat, you need to think about what you're going to have for lunch. So maybe it's a wrap, or maybe it's an apple and a banana, or whatever, something that you can actually walk around with, a bottle of water. Exactly. You're not going to be, grabbing the McDonald's, chicken McNuggets with like a big wad of barbecue sauce you're going to be dipping. You just can't do it. So by getting out there and walking, that will help too, just getting out there for half an hour.
Sure. Well, and that also, not just the physical exercise, but at this point, now you do start thinking about the food you eat. Right. What can I eat? If I'm going to go out and I'm going to try and walk, I'm going to try and be a little bit healthier. Well, if I'm going to go through that effort, I really should start eating healthier too. What can I eat? What is a little bit healthier? Exactly. By taking that time to do this, it really is going to make your entire life slowly better. You're going to physically
more healthy,
feel better. Your
Absolutely.
cholesterol is going to come down. Your blood pressure will come down from the exercise, the better eating. And it really is. I mean, you can look at it like this whole, Zen thing, mind,
Sure.
body, spirit thing. But it's true. I mean, I truly believe that when your body and mind are in good health, the rest of your world falls into place.
Sure. You could be more creative. I mean, if you're
Absolutely.
in pain all the time, and you're on like 800 milligrams of ibuprofen just to get by, you're not going to be able to create. You're not going to be able to create as well. Another couple of stats which are interesting that I wrote down here, which is kind of, everyone says, "Oh, go to the gym and I'm gonna just really do a hard, intense walk, like a power walk on a machine or whatever for 30 minutes. What they've come up with is a slow, leisurely stroll. A slow, leisurely stroll for an hour long burns more calories than an intense power walk for 30 minutes. Yep. So what does that mean? It just, even though, so walking is sometimes better, it'll burn more calories than these power walks or running or, so getting out there and walking helps a lot. One of the major things, which, I kind of am alluding to here, is getting out of your seat and standing. Stop, sitting just is not healthy. What they've come up with is by sitting, right? Just idly sitting for an hour, you burn 5 calories. By standing for an hour, you're burning 15 calories. That's 3 times as many calories for standing instead of sitting. So what does that mean? Well, get off your ass. This is what Stand it means, And so now, you say, okay, so what can we do as photographers? We're editing all the time. How do we get up? How do we get off our butts? The bottom line is there are solutions out there. One of the solutions when I was looking this up is these stand as you work solutions. It's basically a desk that you actually work at while standing. You've seen those, right? Yeah,
these are starting to become kind of a new thing now, a new trend,
right?
In health.
Super cool.
For a while there, we had those ergo chairs, right, where you would kneel on them, and they had no back to them and stuff, and then that took pressure off one point of your back, but then put it all on your knees. So there's all kinds of different things that have been tried over the years, but now this latest trend is to actually stand up and work.
Exactly.
But obviously you can't stand up all day, and these different solutions they have are actually adjustable. Some of them you can actually have them at normal desk height where you can sit. Then you can kind of pull a lever and raise the desk up to a standing height. Then you can stand for a while. You sit back down a little bit later. So now maybe if you can't get out on your lunch break to walk around, at least maybe by standing part of your day, you're at least treating your back a little bit better. You're maybe burning a little bit more calories. And, again, you're getting a little bit of movement going on.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was looking these up, because this is something that going forward I definitely want to do, because I had for a couple of years I ended up having about a year and a half. I had problem with carpal tunnel, just from editing photos for hours upon hours upon hours. And then I ended up moving back into the Mac world. This was years back. And just by simply, and I tried I've tried everything from the split keyboards to the, the little wrist thing. I mean, everything, nothing would help. I ended up going to a Mac, and the little Mac mouse and the little flat keyboard, that just solved our problem. It won't solve everyone's problem. It just worked for me.
It worked for you.
Yeah. Having these, issues, and, now sitting, I mean, I can't even tell you how many of these chairs I've been through. I have I have a garage. I probably have about 6 different chairs, and they sit there, they're like brand new, but they kill me. I'm like, oh my God, this doesn't work. Then I try something else. Oh my God, this is great here, but my lower lumbar is killing me, or whatever. So, now I'm moving into this possible standing thing. So I was looking at all of these different kinds of standing units, standing desk, and Trev, man, these things run from like $250 all the way up to like $3,000-$4,000 for these like Rolls Royces. So some of these things are just nasty. I mean, they do everything. You can sit, and then by they're motorized. By you pushing a button, it knows exactly what height to go up to, so you can just stand and start working standing up. I mean, crazy. Then you push another button, and you're back to a sitting position. I mean, these things are thousands of dollars. One of those is by this company called what was it? Anthro. They do a lot of shows. They have some crazy products.
They're like the Cadillacs of these.
They are the Cadillacs,
right?
They have some there. There's Next Desk, there's Geek Desk, there's Safeco, there's Ergotron. There's so many different ones. But what we're going to do is in the show notes, we're going to put links to a whole bunch of different ones, so you guys can kind of look at them.
Yeah, check them out.
Obviously do your due diligence. Look at them. If it's something that you think that will help you, by all means, grab one of these. We want to hear back from you guys if you do pick one up and say, this worked great, or it didn't, work for crap, or whatever it is. We want to know, because I think you are definitely looking into this. I am definitely looking into this, and I think we'll be reporting back. So, some of these behind the scene videos that everyone's watching right now, in a couple of shows from now, they might see me standing up.
You might see us standing.
Exactly. You just don't know.
The chair will be gone from behind us.
The chair will be gone.
We'll be standing. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm actually in the process of building out a new studio myself. And, part of the new build out, I definitely want to put in some form of stand-up workstation.
Right.
You sent one link, and this thing is really cool. It's like, it's a treadmill with a stand-up desk in front of it.
Right.
That you can actually, put your keyboard, your mouse, your monitor, a phone. I mean, it's like a full-blown desk.
Yeah, it's crazy.
At a treadmill.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not much of a treadmill person, but I don't know. I mean, that might be kind of cool to I mean, you couldn't, obviously.
You're not going to be editing photos while you're walking, I don't think.
No,
but if you're on the phone,
if you're
doing some
emails, you're doing phone calls,
you can do
that type of stuff. Why not? I mean, you don't have to run on it, but just doing a nice slow walk for an hour at a pop.
Yeah, I know. I think that was like $1,200-$1,300. I was looking at
it's like $1,300. I mean, it's a lot of money, but if it works for you,
right?
It's going to be worth every penny.
Exactly.
So, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll get that, but it's kind of cool.
So but something. I definitely want to get into some type of standing. But anyways, hope that helps people kind of maybe get more healthy as photographers. But I tell you what, before we go any further, let's go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsors.
Are you frustrated with slightly out of focus images when you know your autofocus spot was dead on? It's simply not your fault. From manufacturer to manufacturer, and even lens copy to lens copy, there are slight variances to the exact spot where light is being focused onto the sensor. Finally, there's a product that allows you to compensate for those variances and make sharper images immediately. Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool, is an absolute must for every photographer. If you want to make the sharpest images possible, then you need to take control over your camera's focusing system. With the Focus Pyramid, you can calibrate all of your lenses on your lunch break. The Focus Pyramid makes lens calibration quick and easy at an affordable price. So give your lenses a new lease on life and take your photography to the next level. Head over to focuspyramid.com/DPC and get an additional 10% off just for being a show listener.
So, Trev, we're back. So, while I was kind of looking around, I keep on watching Facebook. It's like I have this thing now. It's like once the IPO hit, I want to keep on watching it for some reason.
You're addicted to Facebook. Yeah.
It's like going to, you're sitting by, you're at the train tracks and you see this big train wreck happen, and you don't really want to see what's going on because it's so god awful, but you just can't take your eyes off it. That's the way I feel with Facebook. I mean, it's a complete train wreck. I mean, from, possible lawsuits and, the NASDAQ took a dump and there's possible problems with that and the whole launching of it. And there's possible, dealings that went on with getting stock early and all kinds of nastiness. The thing started it had a high of 45 and a low now of 26.
Yeah.
I mean, I predicted 17, so we're getting pretty damn close. But it's just been nasty. I mean,
we talked about this last week, and maybe we'll do that over the next couple shows. Take like 30 seconds to do a Facebook stock update. How low will it go?
Yeah. How many cars have been derailed after this train wreck? We'll just keep on adding the cars up. I mean, it's pretty bad.
It is bad. But you know what? The thing is, in all of our lives, Facebook is that 800-pound gorilla sitting right next to us and with a bad back in his chair.
Yep.
I mean, it's
right.
Just, we can't avoid it. I mean, there are people that are just like, Facebook, no, don't want anything to do with it. But the 901 million monthly active users say otherwise.
That's a couple.
And, from a business standpoint, if you're not involved with, with Facebook, if you're not on Facebook with a page, if you're not interacting with your clients and potential clients, you're missing a huge opportunity.
You're missing the boat. And that matter of fact, Facebook just announced something very interesting, right? This week. So what is it called? Facebook promoted posts.
Right. So
kind of interesting.
Last week
very
we
cool
talked
stuff.
about Facebook ads,
right?
And how Facebook ads maybe really weren't the best thing for photographers to use to promote their businesses.
Lukewarm at best.
Lukewarm at best, yeah. So these promoted posts are an interesting alternative.
Right.
So back towards the beginning of May, I guess it was, there was kind of rumblings about these highlighted posts that Facebook was talking about. Well, they actually rolled it out. It's now available to Facebook pages that have 400 fans or more. So if you have a small Facebook page, just starting, you're not going to have that feature yet.
Right.
But I'm sure as time goes on, they'll probably roll it out across.
Yeah, they have to come up with some type of criteria to roll out. They can't just roll it out to everybody, just like Google does. Certain, there's certain, I don't know how they determine, but Facebook decides 400 is the magic number. Then so be it, right? Right, exactly.
So basically just kind of to talk about what the promoted post is. So for a fee, Facebook will allow you to promote a post, one of your posts, whether it be, just a standard update or something special, some photos, a new album you just put up, whatever. For a fee, you can actually promote that. Right. So more of your Facebook fans will see it.
That's the key there. More. You're they say that, what is it? 12%, I guess, is the average that actually see. When they say more, that's going to be, you're going to pay, and more than the 12% will see it. That's what they're saying.
Right, exactly. So, TechCrunch actually did an article about this, and they said that, that 12% of all the people that like your page, 12% is the average that your fans will see your updates. Now, this is due to several reasons. As your number of friends grow, and the more pages you like, the more updates and things that you have coming through your newsfeed.
Yeah, it turns basically into Twitter. If you have a few thousand fans, I mean, those tweets are coming by, hard and fast. It's very hard to see them. The same kind of thing happened with Facebook.
Absolutely. Then what happens is a lot of your stuff gets buried and just never gets seen. Now, there's another really important factor that weighs into your content getting visibility on Facebook, and that's called Facebook's EdgeRank.
Right.
Now, I'm sure, maybe some of you have heard about EdgeRank, but this is kind of one of these things, unless you're really immersed into the whole marketing end of Facebook, you may not have even ever heard the term before.
It's basically, I guess, directly, it's associated with, or you can kind of view it as the way Google page ranks. This is something similar, but for Facebook.
Yeah. Basically what it does is, as they see the trend of individuals having more friends and liking more pages, and that their news feeds are getting bulked down, they needed to come up with a way to control what they thought you would think the most important information was that you wanted to see.
I love that.
So, they're always looking out for our best interests.
Oh, God. I love this. Yeah. It's like Microsoft days, It's like, they always know what's best for you.
What's best for you. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the idea of EdgeRank is it's this algorithm that they put in place, and it's based on kind of like 3 factors. It's based on affinity, weight, and time. So affinity would be the relationship that one of your fans has with you. Are they actively engaged with you? Do they comment on your stuff? Do they click on your links? They may not even have to comment, but are they clicking on a link that you're sharing?
Bottom line is, do they care?
Do they care?
Do they care?
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. So affinity plays a big part in this. So if a fan is regularly engaged with your posts, then they will see your posts on more of a regular basis.
Right.
The next component is weight. So what are you posting? Are you posting, just one-line status updates that people really don't care about?
Right.
Are you posting photos? Are you posting videos? Right. Facebook gives more weight to rich media. So if you're putting videos up there, if you're putting photos up there, they're going to look at that and say, oh, okay, this is like more quality content. This is more shareable content. This is probably something that your fans would be more interested in.
Right. And this is the same thing that Google does, right? Google Plus. When you post on Google Plus, if you're just posting text, okay, it gets weighted a certain way. But if you're in there putting up rich media, all of a sudden it just pops to the top.
Absolutely. If you're posting YouTube videos on Google Plus,
love that, right?
They love the YouTube videos. Why not? It's their property.
Absolutely.
So then the third element is time. How, from the time that you post it, how much activity does that post see?
Right.
In the very beginning, and then as time moves on, the less activity that it sees, the further it drops to the bottom.
Right.
So the idea with these promoted posts is, now if you're just don't have that type of traction, now what you can do is actually promote, pay to do a little promotion, get these things popping up towards the top of their newsfeed. So it's quite interesting, and I think from a marketing standpoint, it's definitely worth exploring.
Yeah, sure. Anytime that you have a possibility to, let's say, market to or contact more easily possible customers, it's definitely worth doing a test, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the idea of promoted posts is that it's going to people who already like your page.
Right.
So you're not necessarily going to get new customers, although you can. But the idea being is that you're exposing your content to your existing customers. Now, there are factors to look at here. If you're a photographer and your fan page consists of mainly other photographers,
right,
then, if you're trying to tell them about a sale that you're running or a special holiday promotion for doing portraits, they're not going to care about that. That it doesn't even pay to to promote that. But if you know that the majority of your fan base is potential customers or current customers, then absolutely. Then promoting something like that is totally worth it.
Absolutely. That's we were talking earlier, if you have a personal page, right? And you might be communicating with friends, family, and people that really care about hiring you for photography, let's say, that works great. If you have a business page that's only about photography. Well, if you have only photographer people in there, well, what are you going to do? Maybe you can sell them a photographer product, but you're not going to be selling them your service, so to speak.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. But as with anything, any new feature, there's always controversy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, before we get into the controversy, which I'm sure it's a big one, let's go ahead and take a quick break and hear from one of our sponsors.
Have you ever tried to photograph a child who was on the move and wouldn't settle down? A child who just wouldn't give your camera the time of day no matter what tricks you tried? If so, we have some great news for you. Introducing the Daisy Grip, your go-to tool for capturing a child's smile.
Just think of the Daisy Grip as your third hand. Just place it into your camera's hot shoe, insert the child's favorite toy or puppet, and let the smiles begin. Imagine the storytelling magic that you'll have at your disposal with a ferocious lion or a friendly monster sitting on top of your camera. For the ultimate attention getter, place your smartphone into the Daisy Grip and play the child's favorite cartoon.
With the addition of a Daisy Grip bracket, you can free up your hot shoe for a flash or wireless transmitter.
Let Daisy Grip put the space above your lens to work for you. Make this indispensable tool your new best friend. Head over to daisygrip.com/DPC to get the listener discount.
The Daisy Grip, for a child's smile, for a photographer's camera.
So, all right, Trev, talking about Facebook, Facebook is under a microscope these days, right? Controversy, I think,
can't do anything without getting called out on it.
They can't. Absolutely not. Controversy is inevitable. It doesn't matter what they roll out. People are going to look at it, with a microscope, take it with a, fine-tooth comb and just go through it,
Yeah.
So what is this controversy?
Well, in these articles that I was reading about this whole new service that they're putting in place, there's a lot of people that are for it, and then of course there's a lot of people that are against it. I mean, they're saying, why should I have to pay for exposure that I was getting for free already with my Facebook page? You're not paying for exposure that you are already getting. You're paying for exposure. You're paying for more exposure than what you were getting.
Above 12% that we were talking about.
Above that 12%, exactly. Right. So, I mean, that was something that was very hot on the list, that, why should all of a sudden I have to start paying? And no. Nothing has changed from that standpoint. Organic is still organic. Now you're just given an option to reach more people. Right. Now, if you can do it on your own, if you're out there and you're interacting, you're creating conversation, and your edge rank is higher, then your content will organically show up in people's feeds.
Right.
Then you don't have to worry about this.
Sure.
But, unless you're spending a lot of time on Facebook, and really tweaking what you're doing, that's just not going to happen.
I guess back to the Google analogy, it's like going and having someone do SEO for your site, and now you can kind of like just fall asleep behind the wheel because it's already, set up the way the search engines like it, search engine optimization, right? This is the same kind of thing. If you can craft things that you put onto Facebook in such a way that organically you're going to come up towards the top, then so be it. Then you're ahead of everyone else. But if not, this might be a good way to kind of give you the little nudge that you might need, right?
Yeah, to really think about doing, producing better content.
Sure.
Another thing is, obviously this is just another way for Facebook to get money. Well, as we said last week, their ad model is not working as well as maybe it once did. No. And again, for the smaller business, they're just not paying it because they're not seeing the ROI. So obviously from a business standpoint, Facebook needs to keep their investors happy now because their stock prices are dropping.
Exactly.
So they need to monetize. I mean, they obviously need to come up with a solution. So honestly,
it reminds me of the hard sell to the soft sell. That type of thing, sticking those ads in the right-hand column that you're paying for, that to me is the hard sell. Doing this and kind of nudging you softly, lightly up to the top you know, with a couple of pennies or whatever.
Right.
That's like the soft sell, you know? So, I mean, doing it one way or doing it the other way, you know, whatever would work for you is good.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean, you know, you're not interrupting by using these promoted posts. You're not interrupting the viewer experience.
Right. The flow.
The flow, the natural flow of the newsfeed. It's still the same thing. All they do is, if it's a paid promotion, they add in small text at the bottom of the post, it says sponsored in gray text. It's very subtle, but it's there. It's their way of kind of,
they have to.
Disclosure, transparency,
Exactly.
you know. But it's not interrupting the experience. I mean, it's not like, you know, you have to look in the right-hand sidebar to see this thing. It comes through your news feed, and it's being marked as sponsored. Now, the viewer always has the option, if they get ticked off because now they're seeing, you know, a sponsored, you know, post come through their feed, they can always unlike your page.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, as long as it's good content that you're promoting, they would have no reason to unlike your page.
Right. No, I mean, I think it's, you know, I think it's probably going to be a low enough cost option that you can definitely do some ABC type of testing.
Yeah.
And, you know, if it works, it works. I mean, I really, you know, I would definitely look. For me, I'm not a fan. That's just my opinion. I just don't, you know, you probably like it more than I do, Trev. I just don't like the idea of pushing anything onto people that already like me and then paying a certain amount just to get them to see it. I don't know. It just it sits kind of uneasily with me. I can see the controversy. You know, I think is it bad? No. Am I going to try it? Yeah, why not? I'll give it a shot, you know, just like we did with Facebook ads. We ran them for 6 months. We did a lot of A/B tests, a lot of ABC tests, and they failed. They failed horribly. So we dumped them. That's it. You know, so yeah, should we try it? Yeah, I think everyone should try it because it's going to definitely be low cost anyways, right?
It is. It's relatively low cost. I mean, it might be $5, $10, $15, depending on how big your fan base is and what what you're looking to reach. But I mean, I really don't look at it as, you know, a way that you're pushing your content on to people who already like your page. I mean, if they were interacting with you already, then you would have no reason to need to do this.
Right.
Most fan pages are not very interactive. They're one directional. It's a broadcast stream.
Right.
And I've, you know, certainly been, you know, fallen victim to that with Current Photographer. You know, I go in spurts where I'm on there and I'm doing a lot of interacting with people, and the edge rank really starts going up.
Right.
You know, I'm getting a lot more views, a lot more impressions. And then there's other times where, you know, maybe I'm just busy, I'm doing other stuff, maybe I'm focusing more on Twitter, and Facebook suffers a little bit, and then that percentage drops.
So, I mean, I like that idea. You know, maybe this is, you know, a way for you to not spend as much time in the Facebook sphere, and just by paying a couple of dollars, you know, giving you more of a possibility of being seen and not having to really work at that organic, like you're talking about, and being in there interacting as much. I mean, I could see that as being a little bit of a help.
Well, yeah, it's a help, but whatever it is that you're promoting still needs to be quality content.
Oh, yeah. Or
I mean, you don't want to go up there and promote like, hey, I just uploaded a new album from a wedding I just shot.
Right.
Now, that very well may be interesting, but that may not be something that is appropriate to your audience.
Yeah.
You really need to determine for yourself who your audience is, the type of content that they interact with, and then you want to promote that type of content to really boost that interaction.
Right.
So, you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a step-by-step demo video. I've been planning on doing this anyway. So I'm going to put together a video that shows you actually how to do a promoted post, you know, to go through the whole process,
right.
Even give some ideas of maybe the type of content that you should try.
Perfect.
And, you know, I'll get it up online, and, you know, when it's up, I'll put a link in the show notes so that way everybody can go and check it out.
Yeah, definitely. I'll check it out too, because it's something that I'm going to be jumping into right away myself. So
Yeah.
I guess so we went from Facebook and your health on this show. And I think it's about time, Trev. I think it's time to get out of here. We don't want to
I think so. Not necessarily the art end of photography this week, but still all part of the whole photography experience, the whole photography lifestyle.
Right.
So,
The holistic view.
the holistic view.
That's right. Of design and photography. Maybe we'll start a new show.
yeah, exactly. So, anyway, thanks everybody for taking your time and listening. And of course, if you'd like to hear something specific discussed on the show, definitely send us a message through the contact form on our website at digitalphotographycafe.com or connect with us on Twitter at DPhotoCafe. So, Joe, if people want to learn what you're doing and how your back is feeling,
Exactly.
how can they connect with you?
Or how my neck is not feeling. But so they can find me over at the website at alluremm.com, on Twitter at Joseph Christina, and that's Christina without an H, on Facebook, facebook.com/alluremm, and finally Google+. You can go to gplusjc.com.
Great. And you can keep up with me on Twitter at Trevor Current, and at our other Twitter account, it's at Current Photo. And of course, check out our website, currentphotographer.com, and our recently updated Facebook page at facebook.com/current photographer.
And that is a beautifully done, recently updated page. Well done. Love it.
Thank you.
So, all right, Trev, listen, great show as always. I'd like to thank the listeners for their continued support. If you enjoy the show, we encourage you to subscribe for free on iTunes or via RSS. To have our show delivered to you automatically, go and subscribe so we know you're listening, please. If you're listening on the go, fear not. Everything that we covered in today's show can be easily seen in our show notes at our website, digitalphotographycafe.com. Once again, keep your questions and comments coming, and we'll talk to you next week.